everybody. My name is Leslie, and I have something different and interesting to talk to you about today. But first, I wanted to follow up on that my daughter ended up grooming my dogs, and boy, oh boy, I did not know. Here's something new. Come here, man. Oops, and I've got my bunny rabbits everywhere for Easter. I did, as you can see, Minnie's here with a sweater because I didn't know that I was brushing her all the time, but I didn't know underneath the curl, it's all matted. I never knew that. So that was quite a shock to me. My daughter said it was just matted everywhere. But it's not like you could see it or feel it. When petting her, you couldn't. So my daughter had to take off a lot. She's got a sweater on because I'm in Florida. The air condition is on and I like it cold. But look at this poor girl. She had to have like all her hair. My daughter took it right down to the skin. And I'm just going to have to keep brushing to avoid matting. Mary, come here. Mary, come. Come on. Are you a good girl? Okay, come here. Okay, let me put Minnie down for a minute. So she looks, and Mary looks really good. Come here, Mary. Come on. Oh, you're heavy. Oh, ah. Oh, ah. Okay. And my camera isn't positioned very good. Okay. So here's my Mary. And she got a nice trim all over. And she looks really good. And actually picking her up right now. She's nice and warm. I like to snuggle with her. So, but look in the camera, Mary. Everybody say how cute you are with those beautiful eyes. Yeah, you're a good girl. Yes, you are. Okay. And Presley, we didn't do anything. I'll take care of him myself. His hair doesn't really grow like it used to. And I'm going to show you some pictures today. Maybe I'll find one of Presley of when he was in his good days, before Joey died. So, okay, I just want to update you on that. My daughter has this great grooming kit. It's like you go over and the hair all gets sucked up into like this container. It's like a little vacuum, but it's for grooming dogs. Great thing. So I'll look into maybe getting that in the future. Okay, good girl. Thank you. Thank you for being a good girl. All right, so, okay. Oh, Min's back. Okay, Minnie. Look at you. Okay, and then these are my pillows. Look. Aren't they cute? Okay, we'll put that one down there for right now. Now, I said I was going to talk about my breast cancer experience. However, being today is a very special day, I'll put that off for the next video because I really want to talk about how special today is. March the 3rd. Take you back to 1944, at the end of 44. And my mom was in London. And my dad was stationed in London. And, yeah, Mary, she's going to be barking because my neighbor next door is a snowbird, which means they leave for the summer and come back in the winter. However, there's issues going on. His wife isn't doing well. She's sick. So he's just come down to get rid of a lot of things. and also then to put the house up for sale. So, yeah, it's sad. Very nice people. Canadians, we love them. We love them. Sorry, Canadians, for Trump. All I can say is I'm sorry. I didn't vote for him, ever. I'm a large, outspoken opponent. And this whole thing with Iran has got me, I gotta tell you, lately, with the way the world is, I'm depressed. Actually depressed. So, and I do talk with a psychiatrist, telehealth every 3 months because of my anxiety disorder. And I told him, yeah, I am so depressed, but it's not a clinical depression. And I know that because I'm a licensed mental health counselor, retired, but I know how to diagnose. And it's a situational depression. And I guarantee you, when we get a new president, I'll be a lot happier as long as this one doesn't do too much damage. So he's already done so much damage. And from what I understand, okay, we had 2 deaths in Minnesota, which we can attribute to him. Then we have 3 deaths with this Iranian thing first. Now today they're reporting 6 more. So look at that. 6 and 3, 9, 2 more, 11 deaths directly related to Donald Trump. Unbelievable. What a horrifying man. Okay, so let's get back to today's March the 3rd, 1944. No, not March the 3rd, 1944. Let's say it's December 1944. And my mother and her mother were running for an air raid to get to a shelter, and my grandmother tripped and fell and hit her head against concrete, and little did they know at the time, but that set off a internal head bleeding, and she passed away on January 1st of 1945. So my poor Nana, my poor Grandma Sargent, her name was Mariah, and she was from Ireland, and she had long black hair and big blue eyes. So my dad was dating my mom. They were both engaged. My mom was engaged to a guy, and my dad was engaged to a girl back in America. They met, and bam, my dad asked her out, they went, and then they kept seeing each other, and my grandmother told my mother, you better tell that Yank that you're engaged. If you don't tell him, I will. So my mom said, okay, I'll tell him. So she told my dad, and then he told her he too was engaged. So they both wrote letters to their, fiancés, and, dear John, dear Joan letters where it's, I've met someone. So heartbreaking, for those other people. But they met and got married in 3 months, 3 months' time. They were married March 3rd, 1945. And I wear their wedding rings, wedding bands here. Now, these are not the originals. My dad lost his original. And my mom, I got my cross, and I have their rings. So the plain one, my mom likes everything plain, and this was my dad's. So I still have my mom's originals. They're in the box. Tiny, tiny, tiny fingers. So anyway, and then for their 25th wedding anniversary, my dad bought her beautiful diamonds. I have that too. So I want to remember them today because They would have been married 72 years today. But they passed in 2012 and 6 months apart. And I know that they have a love story that is unlike reality. That was kind of my problem. I expected to find a man and have a marriage like that. You know, those don't come along very often. So they got married in 45. My mom's brother, my Uncle Bill, he was stationed in Tunisia, and sadly, tragically, he stepped on a German landmine and lost both his legs, but was still alive, had time to have the priest write a letter back home to his family, and he passed away then. So he is buried in Tunisia. My mom was the only one who had not been able to go to his grave, you know, because being from America, that's a long way off. Whereas her relatives, her sister and her brother were at that time, or before she passed, they were still in London. So both of them had the opportunity to go to Uncle Bill. So anyway, moving on with the story, they stayed there for the war was over now. They stayed there for another year until they could come back. And my mom's sister also got married, and they both came over, but they couldn't get on the same ship together. So my Auntie Dusty was on the Queen Mary, and my mom, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the ship she came over on, but there's a really cool newspaper clipping of the two of them meeting in New York. And it said, you know, separated sisters reunite. And they're hugging and kissing because they met in New York when their ships landed. So, and then my dad had his family in Chicago. So my mom and my dad went to Chicago. And my aunt, Auntie Dusty, and her husband went to California. Now that marriage didn't last, but my Auntie Dusty had two children from that. And she was just a spark. She was a very interesting woman. So my mom, being more traditional, she had a job. The first 15 years of their marriage, they were not being successful having children. So my mom begged my dad, I'm going to try and get to a picture, begged my dad to, hang on a second. Here they are. Okay, this was them probably a couple of years. Oops. Before, trying to make it bigger. No, okay. A couple of years before they passed. And there they are. And I'm going to tell you what my mom told me was the secret of her marriage. And I just want to say real quick that here they are again with my brother and his wife, Debbie. Now, my brother decided when he got married March 3rd because he so loved my parents' marriage. He wanted the same with Debbie. And you know what? He did have that. He and Debbie were so compatible. They were like a comedy team. They were hysterical. He would start and she would end. I mean, they were just, You know, he'd start the beginning of something and then he'd go, take it, Deb, you know, and then they were just so funny. And she told me the last 10 years of their life, they never even had a fight about anything. So unfortunately for all of us, and especially Deb, he passed away at 50, so she became an early widow and has had to live these past years without him. But I think about if he had still been here, it would have been so much fun. So going to my mom and dad, their secrets of a happy marriage are, my mom said, always keep the romance alive. And they did. They went out for a date night every weekend. And they did kind things for one another, you know. They were never mean or nasty. And I think it was their personalities too. My dad was extremely laid back, just very, very calm and very, very thoughtful and just really laid back. And my mom, like I said, she was really OCD. I mean, not just OCD where you got to go around touching stuff or whatever before you leave the house. Not that kind. There's two kinds. She was the obsessive compulsive personality disorder. So everything in the house had to be perfect all the time. So she focused all her attention on, you know, making things perfect and doing things around the house and she was the best ironer. You wouldn't believe, oh my goodness, the clothes that she would iron. And back then when I was a little girl, they would iron the sheets. So my memories of my mom were her always cleaning the house, always cooking, always working, always very, very busy. And even at night when she sat down to watch TV, she had something on her lap, her knitting kit or sewing kit, I should say. She did knit too, but her sewing kit. And she, you know, she would darn socks or fix buttons or whatever needed to be done as she watched. She loved movies, the old time movies, and so did my dad. They went to the movies every week. Then they maybe have a dinner. And then as we got older, my brother and I, they didn't go out like the first, I think they didn't go out for when my brother and I were young, real young, like in cribs. And then the one time that they did, they had a horrible experience. When they came home, all the lights were on in the house. And they could tell that this babysitter, because they found the evidence in the car, bowling tickets, they could tell that she had taken my dad's car with her friends and gone bowling and left my brother and I alone. So when they got home, they knew. My mom could tell instantly looking at the house, things have been moved, something's been touched. She knew immediately. And they did call the girl's parents, and of course, parents wouldn't believe them. And my dad said, where'd these tickets come from? You know? And, well, our daughter would never do that, blah, blah, blah. So that was the only time that they left when we were little in cribs. And then they got neighbors. Like, there was a neighbor on one side, a neighbor on the other side. And we had a really good time with them. But my mom and dad kept that romance going. They would go for walks in the summertime, always holding hands. I used to see another couple doing that, Mr. and Mrs. Honey. However, Mrs. Honey died back when I was maybe, let's see, 6th, 7th, 8th grade maybe. of cancer. It's just so sad. And but they were the only other couple I saw. So anyway, but my mom and dad always walked around. They went for long walks. Even into their 80s, they would be going for long walks, like 5 miles. One time they got 5 miles out and they were by a grocery store and they called me. They said, we're too tired to make it all the way back. I said, okay, I'm coming. I went and picked them up and dropped them off. But yeah, they were just always together. And they did special things for each other. And they showed their love all the time. And they, hang on, I'm going to have a little, my tea's probably getting cold. Yep, it is. I don't like it like that. I am like my mother in that case, that I like my tea very hot. So I remember she would sit there when she lived with me the last 6 months of her life. She'd sit at the kitchen table with her tea and she'd be talking so long and she'd say, my tea is cold. And I said, well, let me pop it in the microwave for a few seconds and get it warm. And then she'd sit again and talk, you know. So they had just an incredible bond. And my dad, even like after he retired and in the last years of his life, he had to retire early because he had gotten, there's different thoughts on it. Emphysema, he was diagnosed in Chicago. Then we came down here and they said he had asthma. Then it was COPD. So Mary, don't start. And so, you know, it was reclassified through the years, but in Chicago, the cold, oh boy, he would come home sometimes and it would, like, I'd be the only one home with him. My mom used to, her and her friends, English friends, they all got jobs working at the Beverly Country Club as banquet waitresses, and they enjoyed that. They loved it. And my mom always said that was her mad money. She'd stow away. And that was when we went shopping and she saw something that she normally wouldn't buy. Then the mad money came out and she bought it. So it was just me and my dad. And my dad came in the door and he threw himself up against the wall. And he couldn't breathe. He could not breathe. So he did it again, trying to get breath. So I grabbed him, I dragged him downstairs. That's where his oxygen tank was. And I got him hooked up to the oxygen, got him warm. The Chicago winters can be rough. So he sat with his oxygen for a while and to get his breath back. And that was it. He said, that's it. I can't take this anymore. So he retired early at 58 and came down to Florida. And they were here until they passed away at 89, both of them. So they spent a lot of time together and they were always doing something. You know, they would have their date nights still, but during the week, they would have an adventure somewhere. Whatever was going on someplace, if Tarpon Springs was having an art festival, they'd go there. You know, if Clearwater was having something going on, they'd go there. Or when it's blueberry picking season, which it is right now, they would go to Plant City and they would pick blueberries together. So my mom would always make them a nice blueberry pie. So we used to do, when I was a kid, we used to go to the forest preserves in Illinois by Chicago, and we would go out and my dad would find an apple tree out there and he'd climb up in the tree and shake it, you know, and the apples would come down and me and my brother and my mom would all pick them up, put them in a big basket. And my mom would make a bunch of apple pies with that. So they always had fun doing things together. They were like-minded, strict Catholics. My dad worked at St. Linus church for 20 years, maybe, as an usher. And a little bit of name throwing here. So did REO Speedwagon's parent, his father. And they did a lot at the church. His parents organized what they called Way Off Broadway, where the whole school was converted into like a theater of all these different places. And not far from the Pope lived at that time. And I said, I'm sure I've met the Pope because I used to work as a coat check girl. And all the priests from all the surrounding areas would come for this huge event. And so I said, I bet I met him. I bet I checked his coat sometime. So another little bit from where I'm from. Also, the river dance guy was from my neighborhood also. Can't think, what was his name? Can't think of his name right now. Anyway, yeah, it was a big part of my growing up, and my parents were very involved. And my mom went to church every day with several other ladies on the block. They would all walk over and go to church every day. And so they led a very good life, and they were best friends and did everything together. They never vacationed with another couple. I think we only did that one time, and it was my aunt and my uncle, Auntie Evelyn, Uncle Larry. That's it. The only time we took a vacation with someone. But other than that, my mom did not believe in going with other couples. She thought, it's time for family. And, me and my brother would run off into the ocean or swimming or whatever. And, my dad too. And my mom would sit and read her magazines by the poolside because she couldn't swim. My mom couldn't swim. She had a terrible experience as a child, and that just put her off of swimming. She just was terrified of water. So, and then the last, years of their lives, they would always go and do something together. And my dad was so cute because he would leave little pieces of paper with a little love message on it all over the house. So my mom, when she was dusting, she would come upon these little love notes everywhere. So precious, just so cute. And it would make her day, and she was so happy. And boy, they loved each other so much. And I knew one wouldn't last long without the other. So also what they used to do used to drive me crazy. We'd go to the movies together, me and them, because my marriage wasn't successful and I never found that love of your life. I was never blessed to find anybody like that. My brother did, but not me. I didn't find anybody. So my mom and dad would go with me to the movies, and I would always say, I want to sit in the middle. Even though I was in my 40s and 50s, whatever. I want to sit in the middle. So I'd sit in the middle, but the whole time, my dad would be looking over to my mom and saying, I love you, I miss you. And she would say, I love you, I miss you. And then they'd be holding hands on my lap. So I would get up and say, all right, move. Go over there, go sit together. I won't infringe on your love story. So they were each other's focus. And my mom always said, your kids are not your number one focus. It's your marriage. It's your husband. Because one day the kids are going to be gone. And who are you going to be with? Your husband. So you have to nurture that relationship, and you have to put everything as you can into it. And of course, your children too. But my dad came first. And that was how he came first for her, and she came first for him. And they loved each other just unbelievably. And I did say in a video that when my mom was passing, she was, she had a massive stroke in 5 days. She was passing in my house. My dad passed in my house at that time. And I had brought him home from the hospital when the doctor said there's nothing we could do. And I put the hospice bed right there in the living room so he could look out the window at the horses across the street. And he loved the horses. So he passed there, and I had gotten my mom into bed with him so she could hold him as he passed. And then she put on his ring, and she wore both rings, and it was a really beautiful spiritual moment when my dad passed. I could feel his excitement and his energy, just like a thrill, just thrilling he was, as he went on to heaven. And I thought, gosh, he was excited. He was really excited. Well, I found out when I made a few phone calls to let people know he had passed that his best friend for 40 years had passed 4 days before, and we didn't know yet. And I said, I bet that's why he was so excited. He was so excited to see him, Bob. He was, oh, Bob, you're here too. So, and meeting Jesus and my brother and everybody up in heaven. So his mama, his sister, just a great reunion. And then when my mom was passing, I had the hospice bed in the same spot in my house. And I could just tell spiritually, my dad was just kind of standing there, hands in his pockets, jingling around with coins or keys, looking at her and waiting. And I knew he was there. Now, she at this point had gone into a coma. So, and then it was within a day that she passed. And when she passed, it was just this beautiful, holy awe and thrill for her that she's going to Jesus. She always used to say, I can't wait to see Jesus. And I know that's what she was doing. She was seeing Jesus. She took off, and good for her. So that was their love story, and they chose early on, like in the around 2000, that they wanted to be cremated and put in this new cemetery into this little stupid box. And I didn't agree with it, but that's what they wanted. And when we went to put my mom in there and they opened it up, I had been saying, this is not secure. Basically, you're in a styrofoam container with a door that just latched. So I went out there and I'd seen the guy down the other end. His open, nobody in there. And I thought, oh my gosh. And then his name was taken off and they put a new door on. So when we opened my dad, a roach came out. Oh, my daughter is screaming, I was like, and the guy was like, well, don't push it over by me. It was this big commotion. So I was like, I'm taking them with me. If they had known it was going to be that shoddy of a place, they wouldn't have chose that. A lot of people were against me for bringing them home. However, I did what I thought was best for them. And really, everybody's like, well, where are people going to go to spend visit with them or whatever? Well, first of all their friends were gone. And anybody that was left was not really mobile. So the only people left really was me, my son, and my daughter and her family. And so I put them in a cute little box that they had. It was theirs. And they're in my house and they're waiting. And at least they're not waiting because they're in heaven. But their ashes will be buried with me. And back then they didn't know that my grandson, their great-grandson, Connor, was going to pass. They didn't know he was going to die so soon, or they would have chose to have been by him. But I bought a plot, just kitty corner. We're only like 3 inches apart. And my mom and dad and I and all my dogs, all of them, cremated, coming with me. We'll all be together with Connor. And I figure if God doesn't blow the trumpet while I'm still alive on this earth, because I do believe we're in the last days, very last days, but if the trumpet doesn't get blown before I'm gone, then we will all be caught up in the sky together, because the dead in Christ shall rise first, and then those left remaining on the ground will come next. Jesus will call his church to him in the clouds. Well, hello there. Hello there, my poor baby. Look at this poor, turning 18 this year-old dog. He's just a mess. Oh, I got to show you. I saw some pictures yesterday of him and his best friends, Joey and Sadie. Oh, and even there's a picture of him with Joey right before Joey passed. And he just looks so good. And it's only been 2.5 years and he's just really gone downhill. So, they suffer too. And they grieve. Just like we grieve, they grieve. And I am blessed to know where my mom and dad are. I am blessed to know that they really had a real love story that only comes along once or twice in a century. And they had it. And they were so blessed. So that's my story about my dogs being groomed and Presley. Sit here a minute. Let me see if I can find that picture of you. You and the pup. Here's one. If you can see that. I mean, he's looking. Hold on, they're just moving. Oh, come back. Okay. All right, that's Presley and Sadie, his girlfriend. And I saw a picture of him. I was like, wow, I cannot believe he looked so good. Okay, here he is here. Okay, well, there they all are out there. Let's see. There's Joey's the big guy. Sadie's the smaller golden. And then there's Presley. And there's my son, and he was throwing balls back and forth, and I was throwing them back and forth. But those two have left me and are waiting for me in heaven, aren't you? Both of you. I love you. Okay, here's, let me see, is this Sadie or Joey? I think, well, there's Presley laying with either Sadie or Joey, I'm not sure which. Okay, so I know this is a very long video. I didn't mean for that to go on so long, but I just want to, let me just see, that picture of Presley is just so beautiful. This is the last picture taken of me and Connor, my grandson. He's laying on the floor and I'm laying over him by the Christmas tree there. Yep. Connor. He's taking care of my puppies. So many pictures of him. There's me and my mom at my graduation. Okay, here they are, all the foursome that were married today. My brother and his wife and my mom and dad. They went out to a special dinner I went with, and I took the picture. So, okay, very cool. My mom's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sargent. Her dad's name was William. Her mother was Mariah. They were very poor. Here's my mom's wedding photo. Oh no, what did I do? Let me go back. Okay. That's their wedding photo. I think it's really interesting. If you notice, there's a white light like next to my mom's hat. And I don't know if you can see that. But in every single picture, there's that light there. Even in ones with the whole big group, the light is there. I choose to think her mom had just passed away 3 months before. I choose to think that that's my mom's mom attending the wedding. Here's my mom's picture when she was a young girl with long hair. And I think, yeah, that's what she looks like in heaven now, because she did come to me at some point and I didn't recognize her. And then when she got out a little ways, I knew it was her, because she was like so close to me, and I was freaking out. So trying to find, oh wait. Okay, this is my mom and my dad with my brother. This was when he became a lawyer, and he was heavy back in those days. However, when he had cancer, he lost so much weight. So this is the four of us way back, I believe, if you can see. This was in England in 1970. There we are. And as you can see, my dad's bald, and he used to wear a toupee. Even in the hospital, he'd tell me, is my toupee on straight? I have it now. Some people might think that's weird, but I don't care. I have it. I told my son, you never know if you're gonna maybe need it. And this was me and my dad, gotta show you, going to the father-daughter dance at my school. And it was held at the Drury Lane, a big place they used to have in Chicago, which is now moved from there. It's more out. Let's see, I'm trying. Now, I was adopted. I told you my mom and dad 15 years. But I was adopted, and I found my birth mother in the 1990s, but couldn't find my birth father until, and it was after my parents had passed. I was starting to go on Ancestry, and what cinched it for me was doing the DNA, because then I got This is my birth father when he was an older man. And he passed away. Okay, here's another wedding photo of the couple. See, there's that light. Okay. So, here's the medal my Uncle Bill got for dying in Tunisia. And here is my Uncle Bill. Gave his life in World War II. And here is my mom's mom, my grandpa sergeant who fought in World War I for the English. He was, okay. Where? I'm sorry. All right. Trying to find. Oh, look at my Sadie, okay? They were having a contest at a grocery store for the best profile of a dog. Now I ask you, does she not have a beautiful profile? My Sadie. She should have won. Shouldn't you? Yes, you should have, Sadie. Okay, here's the loving couple. They went to St. Petersburg and renewed their vows on their wedding anniversary. And they also met with, what is it, the bishop of the Archdiocese. There's another one. Keeping the love, keeping the romance alive there, Daddy. He grabbed her. Oh my word. And another one. I don't know what happened. Did they put all the kissing together? And I said my mom didn't like to go in the water, but obviously she did for this. But she does have a raft, and my dad's right there. So, and here we are, the 4 generations of women. It's my mom, me, my daughter, and my granddaughter, Teresa. So there's 4 generations together no more. Okay, well, I also just wanted to tell you guys that I went and saw the epic Elvis movie. And if you like Elvis, here's another picture of me and my boy, Connor. My Connor. Yeah, I went to his grave the other day and I decorated for Easter. Because if I don't, nobody does. And he still doesn't even have a gravestone. Ask my daughter about it. We don't know what we want to say. Well. So he does have a plaque. I put pavers down and a fence that sticks into the ground like a little one, just a little, like this big. And I can hang things from it. And then I got him a big plaque from Etsy that has his picture in there. It's like black granite. And so that's nice. I just feel that this is Connor, and that's his brother Andrew when he was born. But look at the look on his face. We were not happy, Connor and I. when my daughter told us she was going to have a baby, I said, you should be giving all your attention to that Connor all the time. But now along came Andrew, and thank God he did. He is such a blessing to us now. He's just an amazing, amazing young man. And, oh, I love him so much. But at first, yeah, that was Connor and I were kind of like, yeah, now this baby's going to take up all the time for Connor. So, but Connor came around to it, and then he, oh, come on, where are all my pictures? Then they became best buds. I have a picture somewhere. Oh, and here's my cousin George. I found out when I did my ancestry who my birth father was, and I found out that I am first cousins to George Washington, 7 times removed. That means 7 generations down, but first cousins. He would not be happy with the country today. So, yeah, he's also related. The Washingtons are related to the Spencers. I saw Diana's brother on a documentary thing on YouTube about Althorpe, and he was given a tour, and he said he was showing the furniture that the Washington family left there because at some point they had come to stay with them at Althorpe. I guess they were having financial trouble or something, but before they came across the pond, they were they would stay there. And I found out that the relation is with a Sir Kyton, or it's K-Y Kitson, different spellings of it. But anyway, it goes down from him. He is our common, in the 1400s, he's our common grandparents for me, my kids, and Diana's children, who is, of course, William. So I'm related to William through this connection there, which is, I feel very blessed and honored. I love him. He's a good kid. Oh my God, he's such a good boy. All right, this is way too long. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Here's another picture of my mom and dad, again, holding hands. You know, just a great love story. I might split this up into 2. So I think that's what I'll do. So, this is me and my son. I showed this. See, when we took a trip to Vermont after my mom and dad had passed away, and I needed something. And I love the snow. Snow to me, magical. I love it. And I know people say, oh, you got to shovel it. Well, I lived in Chicago for 24 years. Before my dad would come out in the morning, I'd go out there and get his car turned on and get everything off the car, you know, and he'd just walk out and get into a warm car that was already, you know, de-snowed and de-iced. And I did that every day. So, yeah, so I know snow is a problem. It's bad driving. I understand that. I just think it's magical. So, oh. Yeah, here's a little saying. no matter what I do to move on from this pain, when I think of my grandson, I'm seeing so many pictures of him, and it's just hitting right here, the pain. No matter what I do to move on from this pain, deep down inside, I will always know that I'll never get to hug him again in this life, but I will in the next. I'll be there. I am coming. So here's the picture. My brother had already had cancer, him and his wife, and he won an award as a lawyer. He was such a champion for people. And what was this called? The something. I can't remember the name. But anyway, you can tell he's lost so much weight, and, you know, he was having a good time there. He thought he was cured from it. But, oh, here he is. This is it. Look at Presley. Look at that Presley just a couple of years ago. And what the heck happened? What happened? You lost your best friend. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And that just did it for you, didn't it? Look at what my dad did. That was my graduation. He took the picture and he cut out our faces and stuck them on each other. So he looks like he's graduating. And I'll show you before this. He wrote me a letter. And I got to read it. It says, "Dear Leslie, thank you for attending my graduation from college. And you look nice in my gentleman's clothes. Love, Dad." That was another thing about my dad. Good sense of humor. You know, fun, fun, fun all the time. Always having fun. And, and this is me. Because everybody always says I was bossy. I'm not bossy. I just have great leadership skills. Understand? Do you get it? I am beautifully broken, perfectly imperfect, beautiful in my flaws altogether. I'm a beautiful disaster. So true. So true. Where? Oh my goodness, Connor. It's killing me here. Connor, my dad. Martin Luther King. Everything that just kills me. Just kills me. Okay, so I haven't come across, oh wait, there's a good, look at Presley. Look at this happy little pup. Look how cute. And now look at him. He lost his best friend and he went downhill. But he's still hanging on. He's still hanging on. So, now, oh. All right, well, this is something cool I found out from Ancestry. My birth mother's side has a little bit of Cherokee in it, and I believe that's my great-grandmother. Full-blooded Cherokee. So, yeah. How cool is that? And the Bobos, the Bobo tribe. So, yeah, boy. Okay, I'll stop the video because, you know, it's too long, and right now, it's too painful. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad, Brad in heaven, and Debbie I'll give a call to. And thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry it dragged on like it did. It's just when I get looking at the pictures. You know, I don't have my family anymore. I have my son, who lives with me. And I have my puppies who I love. Oh, man, she's been here the whole time. Presley jumped down and went. She's a lapdog. She don't like to leave me. And Mary's laying right there. I guess I should go find Presley. So thank you for watching. I'm sorry. It kind of hit me. The weight of it all. So I say prayers. God bless everyone who's watching. Stay happy and positive as you can in this crazy world. Remember, true love is possible, and God loves us more than we could even imagine. So I guess there's our true love. If you didn't find one, it is Jesus. It is God. He's our true love. So I put my cross on here with their rings. And I pray for you. God bless you. Have a super sparkly, blessed day. And I will talk to you soon. Okay. Bye. Ta-ta for now.